Good morning and welcome to Vision. I'm so glad you're here today. Happy New Year. I love the rain, so maybe I'm the only one that's like got a little extra something going on within me, but this is a lot of fun for me. But let's stand and celebrate together. This is the day that God has made. I will rejoice. This is the time to celebrate. Lift up every voice. Enter this moment as God's own heart. Standing with joy in the truth of who we are. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. This is the day that God has made. I will rejoice. This is the time to celebrate. Lift up every voice. Enter this moment as God's own heart. Standing with joy in the truth of who we are. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. This is the day that God has made.
Good morning, Vision. How are you this morning? Okay, who stayed up till midnight? Come on, raise your hands. Oh, look and see. And yes, still made it to Vision this morning. Yay, good for you. Congratulations. Oh, I don't have, oh, here it is. I was like, where is my stuff? It's over there on the chair. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We are here to celebrate. But we do that every Sunday. We don't wait till just January 1st to celebrate, right? We are here every single Sunday celebrating life. Celebrating this faith philosophy and way of life that we are drawn to, which is called the science of mind and spirit. So just allow that to resonate with you as we go within for prayer, right here, right now. I give great thanks for this day, for everything in it, for the feeling of newness, for the feeling of new beginnings, for the observation of the turning of the calendar. Knowing that this is, again, a fresh slate in our minds. But we know that that is true every day. We know it's true every minute of every day. There is always a fresh start. There is always a change of heart. There is always a new thought that we can have that will just absolutely change the trajectory of our lives. So I give great thanks for this philosophy, for Ernest Holmes, for being that person who synthesized all of the major religions into this one philosophy. Knowing that it is a light in the darkness, that it leads the way to this perfect spiritual unfoldment of our lives as we know it to be, as we know it can be, as we know Spirit knows us to be. I give great thanks for all of this good. I give thanks for this gathering this morning. All of us brave souls coming out in the rain and coming together to celebrate not only our lives, but the lives of each other, the lives of all life everywhere, actually. knowing that all life is some part of the one life of God's. I am eternally grateful. I know this is truth, and so it is. Where do I want to start? Oh my gosh. I learned this week, I don't know if you read that or not, but I learned this week where the whole dropping of the ball thing came from. Does anybody know why we do that? It's so strange, right? We drop a ball in Times Square and that starts the New Year's. Where did it even came from? And I just read, watched this video of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he said that it started years and years and years and years ago when ships were going out to sea because they could tell where the latitude goes across, right? The equator. And it's easy because we know the equator is the center of the earth. So how they can be north of it or south of it, ships always knew really well, but it was the longitude that was confusing to everyone. So they decided to make longitudinal lines and make 0 someplace. And they made it in Greenwich, England. Now, they could have made it anywhere. I know France was fighting for the right to have it over there in their observatory, but it wound up in Greenwich. So Greenwich Mean Time is 0 longitude. And then there are 24 time zones around the world. And when ships were leaving the harbor, they would ring a bell maybe, but the bell didn't work as well because sound travels slower than light. And so in top of the observatory, they put a big ball. And when the ball dropped to the bottom, all the sailors knew that was 12. That was 12. And so they could set their clocks on their boats to that. And even if their clocks weren't right, they knew exactly how different their clocks are. Oh, it was 2 minutes fast or 2 minutes slow. They could account for it. And then they knew exactly where they were when they traveled east and west of Greenwich Mean Time, of 0 longitude. And so every boat, before they left the harbor, they would wait and they would watch. And they would send a crewman, he called the watchman, out on deck to watch and wait for the ball to drop. And as soon as the ball dropped, they knew it was exactly 12. And then they would leave the ship. And that's why these are called watches. Isn't that clever? They used to be wrist clocks, right? Years and years ago. And now they're called watches because of the watchman. There you go. And now you know. And now you know why we watch the ball drop for 12 o'clock. Thank you, Mark. Anyway, now you know. And I just thought it was fascinating because didn't you wonder for years and years, the fact that it's in Times Square and nowhere near the harbor, I'm not going to discuss that. I have no idea about that. Yeah, anyway, interesting. So that's a great way. See, now you have something to share with your friends, New Year's Day. Hey, why did we watch the ball drop? That's why we watch the ball drop. I also wanted to bring your attention to our Kwanzaa Kinara, because today is the last day of Kwanzaa. We celebrate it, we observe it, here at Vision, because we are an all-inclusive. We had the Hanukkah candles up during the 8 days of Hanukkah. And today is the last day of Kwanzaa. So I just wanted to give you a little information about our Kwanzaa Kinara. Kwanzaa is an African-American and Pan-African holiday which celebrates family, community, and culture, which I think is a wonderful thing. It was created in 1966 by Dr. Maulana Karinga. He was a professor of, I think it was a she, I'm not sure. It is a he? Thank you so much. He was the professor and chairman of Black Studies at California State University, Long Beach. And he developed it as a way to bring African Americans together as community and help them reconnect with the African roots and their heritage. Celebrated from December 26th to January 1st. Its origins are in the first harvest celebrations of Africa, which is where it takes its name. The Kinara holds 7 candles, 3 red on the left, 3 green on the right, with the black candle in the center. And each night, the Kwanzaa candles are lit. The black is the center candle for the people. It is lit first, and then it alternates between the red candles, symbolizing the struggle, and the green candles for future and hope that comes from the struggle, starting with the ones outside and then moving into the center. So the first candle is unity. That would be lit on the first night. Unity of family, community, nations, and race. The second candle is self-determination, to be responsible to oneself and to create our own destiny. The third is collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain communities together, to work together to help one another within the community. Then collective economics, to build, maintain, and support our own stores, establishments, and businesses. Then comes purpose, to restore African American people to their traditional greatness, to be responsible for those who came before, the ancestors, and to those who will follow, our descendants. Creativity is the next one, using creativity and imagination to make the communities better than what you inherited. And the last one, the seventh one, the one that would be lit today, is faith. How interesting, right? I love that. Everything comes together perfectly. Faith, believing in our people, our families, our educators, our leaders, and the righteousness of the African American struggle. So there you have it. It's lovely. It's a lovely ceremony. It's a lovely way of observing community and coming together in strength. So there it is. What else can I tell you today? Today's a big day. We're celebrating a lot of things. The 1st, the 7th, and we have practitioners here who are waiting to pray with you. They absolutely are. We're going to just send out a whole prayer posse at the end of this celebration so that they can pray with you just right in your seat. I think that'd be wonderful. I'd love for the practitioners to raise their hands so you can see us. Wow, we're fit. Look at us this morning. We made it, yay. There are a plethora of practitioners here this morning. So don't leave here today without getting prayer support. Just grab someone, well, not physically, but you know what I mean, and just say, we'd love to have prayer. I'd love to have prayer, whatever, because that's what we do here, because we know prayer changes things. So please, please, please don't leave here today without getting prayer support. There's also a prayer request form in your bulletin. You can fill it out. You can put your phone number down. We'll call you at home. We'll bug you. No, we won't. We will pray with you, though, over the phone. Or you can leave it on your voicemail, and you can listen to it over and over. I like doing that. I like just going back and listening to it. I have a prayer partner that lives up in Seattle, and she calls me every night, and I love it. 8 o'clock, whether I'm on the phone or not, and then I'll just get the email with the prayer on it, and I just love that. It's wonderful. Then I can listen to it over and over. So do that. Leave your phone number on. Get a prayer on your voicemail. You can listen to it. It absolutely changes our lives. Guest packets. I knew that was next. I knew it. I was going to get there. We have guest packets. And I would like to thank Patricia Coughlin because she puts these together herself every week for us. And they look so beautiful, and she does such a great job. Thank you for your service. We have, of course, a saying on the front. We say to remind ourselves, we say for our guests, we say for our vision community at home. I know you're watching, and you're in your jammies with your bunny slippers. I know this. I just know it. I don't know how I know it, but I know it. Anyway, we're going to say it for you at home as well. So let's say it together. Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. Exactly right. I just love that. It kind of makes me feel good. We know that this is a safe space to be, that we can be authentically us right here. No judgment, right? Right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn it over to James Vandenberg right now. No, I'm not. Sorry.
That's all right.
I have to wait one more minute. You know what? Because we said we welcomed everybody online, we welcomed each other, but I want you to turn to somebody right now, and I want you to welcome them. Tell them, thanks for coming to Vision. Thanks for being here. Thanks for getting up on New Year's Day. Just thanks. And just let them chat. Let them chat. I love it. And it just kind of quiets down by itself. And now I'm going to turn it over to James Vandenberg, who is our choir director, by the way. And he is here to be our celebration singer this morning. Thank you so much. You're the whole team this morning. Thank you so much. And he's going to sing our centering song to prepare us for meditation.
God is able, more than able to accomplish what concerns me today. God is able. than able to handle anything that comes my way. God is able, more than able, to do much more than I could ever dream. God is able, more than able, to be my life abundant and free. You want to try it with me? God is able, more than able, to accomplish what concerns me today. God is able, more than able, to handle anything that comes my way. God is able, more than able, to do much more than I could ever dream. God is able, more than able, to be my life abundant and free.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Excuse me. My name is Paul Hemmerling. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at Vision, and now is our time for meditation and contemplation. We'll have some quotes. The bowl will ring. We'll enter a period of silence. TK will keep track of the time for us. The bowl will bring us out of meditation, and we'll move directly into our time of community prayer. I invite you to get comfortable in your seats. Close your eyes if that works for you to block out distractions, and take these words with you into the silence. For all of us, as we grow older, perhaps the most important thing is to keep alive our love of others, and to believe that our love and interest are as vitally necessary to them as to us. This is what makes us keep on growing and refills the fountains of energy. Eleanor Roosevelt. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes. The mind is a magnet, and we attract that which we identify. Start that over. The mind is a magnet, and we attract that with which we identify the self. If you are filled with fear, refill yourself with faith, for faith always overcomes fear. Here in the room, we hear the weather outside whipping through the air handlers above us. And I hear the power of the universe, the power of the unseen at work. I know that that infinite mind of spirit is everywhere, whole, perfect, complete, knowing only of itself, finding no barrier, finding no other, no hesitation, no blockade, no alien, nothing. Nothing at work but the expression and experience of its own thought of I am, I am, I am. Knowing that the entire physical manifest universe is the expression and experience of that I am. I know that there is nothing going on that is not mind in motion. From the outermost galaxies to the leading edge that we can see expanding into what we do not. Down and down and down through this atmosphere, through this weather, through this skin, the blood, the bones, the tissue, the cells, the molecules, the atoms, the subatomic, down and down and down, from the smallest out and out to the greatest and furthest. It is one unified field of self-aware energy, expressing and experiencing only itself. I know that it is puppies and kitties and trees and cars and warm beds and flush plumbing and friendship and support and joy, that it is all the good of life everywhere. And I know that I am one with that power and creative experience of spirit. Knowing that we are one being, one mind, one expression, subjectively, creatively creating our own universe for our own delight. And spirit says yes, denying itself through this life nothing. And so knowing right here and right now that I am one with the creative power of the universe, I speak this word knowing that health is the truth of spirit everywhere. That every cell and atom of this body dances in perfect harmony, in perfect peace, in perfect grace, knowing the I am that I am is perfect health, mobility, creativity, ease of digestion, perfect sleep, pain-free living. There is no disease in God, therefore there is no disease inherent in this expression of God. And I release any thought that there needs to be. There is no such thing as an age-related illness in spirit. And so knowing that I am one with health, one with perfect well-being, I know that I am one with the financial prosperity and opportunity of a limitless universe. Every dollar, every dime, every rupee, every expression of financial abundance and prosperity is the mind and activity of spirit in motion. And I know that fulfillment is the seed of desire, and so therefore I know right here and right now all needs are met in spirit. And I simply allow the floodgates of that windfall, that revenue, that joyful stream from unexpected sources within the one mind to move through my experience, fulfilling all needs with plenty left over to share and enjoy. And as I know that prosperity and health are mine, I know that friendship, joy, expanded circles of assistance and help and support, loving relationships, harmony, this is the truth of spirit, for spirit knows no other. Therefore, there is no other within my life. And so I greet all with harmony, and I am greeted with joy in an ever-expanding circle of love. And I know right here and right now that peace is the truth of spirit. There is no war in God. There is no need for war in this life. And so I drop the pebble within and I let the ripples move out. Peace within this body. peace within these thoughts, peace in my words, peace in my joy, peace in my expectations. And I become the peace the world is seeking. And deep calls unto deep, and peace reigns supreme. So knowing all needs are met, the perfect joy of God lives, moves, breathes, and has its way with each and every one of us, uniquely, spectacularly, effortlessly, easily, and immediately. I give great thanks for the miracle that is about to occur as we reorder the universe to love, to joy, and to peace. With absolute thanksgiving for this beautiful day, for this opportunity to prove these principles, for this amazing building, for this wonderful music, for these incredible volunteers, for the tech team, for the hospitality team, for the greeting team, for everyone who is at home, safe and sound, in our ever-expanding Vision online community. I give great thanks. I then release this word into law, knowing Spirit has already said, yes, this word cannot return to me void. It returns to me fulfilled. I know that it is done. Join me as we say together, and so it is. Amen.
We have the perfect guest for the new year. He's just a positive wave of energy that is going to wash upon us for this new year. So please welcome T.J. Moss.
Good morning, everybody. There's a lot of you here. That's awesome. Y'all braved the rain. You didn't melt on your way here. It's so cool to always to come here and to play here, because I'm always reminded that I get to work with world-class musicians. This guy Mark over here, he always brings something. And this time he brought not a squeeze box. That is an accordion, people. And I love how Reverend Patti she told that story, and so there's kind of a maritime theme here. I'm always fascinated by sailing and how we all of our ancestors braved the wild ocean and set off, not knowing where they were going or what they were doing, hoping for the best. And so maybe if you close your eyes, you can hear the creak of the ship. You can sway a little bit in your seat as we play this song called "The Captain." There is a boat lost at sea. The sail is torn, the mast is weak. The waves have come over the sides. The captain abides. There is a boat lost at sea. The storm has left a mess to clean. The story goes she almost capsized. The captain abides. But you gotta get lost to find yourself again. You gotta be still if you wanna hear the wind blowing. You gotta realize that the power inside you can unite the world. So invite the world back in. Just let go. The captain will get you home. There was a time he used to sing when skies were clear and hearts were clean. It seems he's forgotten the lines, but the song still resides. He lost his way, he lost the time. He saw the world through tired eyes. He learned what he could from the time. He did what he could to survive. The captain abides. But you gotta get lost to find yourself again. You gotta be still if you wanna hear the wind blowing. You gotta realize that the power inside you can unite the world. So invite the world back in, just let go. The captain will get you home. So when you're lost at sea, when that horizon is a little out of reach, it's just another story to tell. It's just another beach. You gotta get lost to find yourself again. You gotta be still if you wanna hear the wind blowing. You gotta realize that the power inside you can unite the world. So invite the world back in, just let go. The captain will get you home. The captain will get you home.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We have a new theme. We're in January. January 2023. We have a new theme. And guess what? It doesn't start with Living Everyday Wonder. Yay. Thank God. Anyway, hooray. This month's theme, January 2023, is Root and Reboot. Doesn't that sound good? Root and reboot. I love that. Bell Hooks wrote, "To be truly visionary, we have to root our imagination in our concrete reality while simultaneously imagining possibilities beyond reality." Isn't that lovely? And I think that's what we do, right? When we are rooted, when we're anchored with our spiritual practice, we are absolutely steadfast in truth, and yet we can let our imagination soar. We can be both and. I love that. Rooting ourselves, going deep, being anchored in truth, and then reboot, starting again. So that is, using our imaginations while we can soar while being rooted at the same time. And we do need both. We need that solid foundation. We need to be rooted in truth. And we also need the freedom to use our imagination, to imagine things, to expand our ideas of what is possible. We need to do both at the same time. But before we set out to change our thinking, change our world, it's really important that we rest in the not knowing. Right? Do you ever have that time when you are in the not knowing, where one thing has completed, but the other thing hasn't started yet? And you're in that place of not knowing. You're in that big, long hallway. Right? And it could be as long or as short. I mean, it just depends, right? But one thing has closed the door to something, but something new hasn't started yet, and you're in that hallway, and it's dark, and you can't see anything, and you don't know how long it is, and you don't know where the other door is, and your in-between place, right? Your in-between place. I remember one of the ministers, Reverend Kathy Hearn, used to say, this is the place where our feet are planted in midair. We just don't know. But this is, where we find ourselves, this in-between time. It's important to rest there, right? And not try to hurry it or rush it or get over it or get started again before we've had time to root and reboot. Anne Lamott wrote, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes and then plug it back in, including you, right? Including you. So that's why this first talk today is called Refill. Doesn't that feel good? Just refill, right? The month's theme is root and reboot, but don't try looking for that word reboot in anything that Ernest Holmes wrote. That word did not exist when he had his ministry. I looked, honest to God, I looked. I had people look for me. I had Nan look for me in all the archives. It wasn't even a word. I mean, unless you were talking about going back out into the snow and, putting them on, then you were going to reboot, I guess. But that would be the only way he would have used it. There was no such word. So instead of reboot, I thought we would call this one Refill. We'd call this talk Refill. And for the rest of the month, we're going to be, because the theme is root and reboot, we're going to be talking about those kinds of things. Refill is today. We're going to talk about refreshing, recognizing, recommitting, all the things we resolve to do in the new year, right? We make January 1st have a special importance to our lives, even though we know every moment of every day is new. We can make every minute could be a new year day, right? Every moment, every day, it's all new. We're new thought, right? But we kind of give January 1st, particular significance in our lives. And so we have all these things we resolve to do. Anybody make New Year's resolutions? Oh, good, you've matured past that. I love it. It's like, we don't make New Year's resolutions, do we really? Because look at the word itself, resolution, resolve. Resolve is really what we're talking about. So every January 1st, we're trying to resolve the same problem we tried to solve last year at this time. So we'll just throw that out, throw that whole idea out. But we do. Right? It's a fresh beginning. It's January 1st. I want to do things differently. And we resolve to do things, this year differently than last year. I'm resolving to get into shape this year. Anybody? Right? The gym thing, right? Everybody does that. Boy, the people that go to the gym hate us. The ones that go regularly, they're like, oh no, the January people are coming, And they pack the gyms for the first 3 weeks, and then you never see them again. It's just really interesting. Anyway, but we do things like that, right? It's January 1st. I resolved to get in shape. Hey, round is a shape. I'm like, I'm in shape. But we go back to the gym. We vow to improve our diet or sleep regular hours or quit smoking or quit drinking or whatever it is that we're doing, right? We quit to either stop it or start it, because it's January 1st. So every year we make resolutions to change ourselves. This year, let's make resolution to become ourselves. Why don't we do that? Yeah, right? Let's make a resolution to be ourselves. I think that sounds way better. I just think it sounds way better. And I'm not saying that those intentions are bad, right? The ones that we said. I'm not saying that they're bad, like to eat healthier or to get more sleep or to give up your habits that really don't assist you in living a better life. There's nothing wrong with all of those other things. But first, let's take a moment. Can we take a breath? And just refresh and refill. Take this time out to really refresh and refill. Ernest Holmes in this thing called Life said, the mind is a magnet. I used the same quote. Isn't that funny? The mind is a magnet, right? That we attract to us what we identify as the self. And in order to get the most out of life, we must learn consciously to change many of our habitual thought patterns. And he goes on to say, this is not easy, for our old thought patterns cling to us with great tenacity. but being thought patterns, they can be reversed. If you are filled with fear, refill yourself with faith, for faith always overcomes fear. Right? I love that saying. Light has the power to overcome darkness. We know this. Faith has the power to overcome fear. So let's take a breath. Oh, it's January 1st, right? Take a breath. Take a time out. Take a sabbatical. Observe the Sabbath. See, I work on the Sabbath, but you don't have to, right? Take a Sabbath. Rest in that gap between ending something and starting something new. We just got through a hectic holiday season. I think every holiday season is a hectic season, isn't it really? We're shopping, we're gift buying, we're decorating, we're hosting, we're cooking certain foods, we're eating special things, maybe some things we don't even eat all year long, right? And lots of sugar. I know that. Lots and lots of sugar. But we're exhausted by the end of it. Aren't you kind of exhausted now? You've gotten through the whole month of December with all the busyness and all the parties and all of the going to see tree lightings and everything, even the stuff you want to do. It's still stressful. It's still, something to do, something else to do, something else to do. Oh my God, we've got to be exhausted by January 1st. And we are. And we are, frankly, right? And then what do? We make resolutions. So on January 1st, we got to hit the ground running. With all these new resolutions we're going to make and all these intentions we're going to set, and we haven't even given ourselves a break. That's why this talk is called Refill and not let's get going. Right? Refill. Our tendency is to, okay, this year is my year. This is my year, 2023. This is it. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to lose that weight. I'm going to get that new job. I'm going to buy that house. I'm going to get that new car. Whew, right? It's exhausting even to just stand there and watch somebody else do it. And we do it on January 1st. Boom, never given ourselves a time out without taking time for ourselves. In Mark 6:31, he said to them, this is Jesus speaking, "Come aside by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. And so they departed to that deserted place in a boat by themselves." That's what we need to do. Jesus knew it. That's what we need to do. Just like us, right? Don't you feel like it? The whole month. That's all we were doing. We were all the time. No time to eat, right? Go through the drive-thru, pick up something really fast, eat in the car, keep going. Take time. Take time. Before we start up the new year, like we ended the old year, the doing this, let's take some time in prayer, in meditation, in contemplation. Let's expand our consciousness, right? So that we are not busy trying to change ourselves with all those resolutions starting January 1st. We're not busy trying to change ourselves, but we are allowing that authentic self to reveal. That authentic self. We give ourselves that expansion, that time, that room to allow the authentic self to reveal. Going back to the Bible, Luke 5, great crowds were gathered to hear him and be healed of their infirmities. But he would withdraw to a desolate place and pray. Right? That's what he would do first. And in Mark, rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. So before we do anything, we pray. I mean, that's what we do here, right, in the morning when we gather together. What's the first thing we do is pray. We're all together. Okay, let's pray. Right? We do that first. Jesus prepared his day by praying. He prepared for his day by preparing his consciousness. That's really what we're talking about here. He prepared for his day by preparing his consciousness. Are we too busy for that? Are we? Ernest Holmes in The Spiritual Universe said, "A person may be reborn, remade, and renewed in mind and body just through taking a little time to get acquainted with his better self. Just through coming to recognize the invisible and almost unknown guest who accompanies everyone through life, the spiritual presence within. Right? That's all we need to do is take a few moments every day to recognize that, to start our day in that power and presence. Before we do something, we must know something. That's what this time is about. This is what's taking this time is about, to know something. We must know that consciousness is cause. That's it. Before anything happens, before anything changes in the physical world, we must know that consciousness is cause. We must know that we know that, and we also must know that Spirit does the work. Takes a lot of weight off our shoulders. Yay. That's why there's no hard and easy to our demonstrations when we pray affirmatively. That's why there is no hard or easy, because in God all things are possible. We're not doing it anyway. All we are doing is knowing truth for ourselves and allowing. And that's what we do when we prepare our consciousness. When we go within before anything happens, before we do anything in the physical world, we prepare our consciousness as well. We are understanding and we are allowing. We're remembering consciousness is cause, and we are remembering we're not the ones doing the work anyway. What we are doing is knowing truth and allowing Spirit to do the work through us. Because in God, all things are possible. That's what we do. We know Spirit does the work. And if we think this is going to be difficult, did anybody ever do that in prayer? Did you ever do that? When you're praying something, oh, this is going to be really hard to demonstrate, right? This is going to be hard. Oh, this is going to be easy. You know, there's like the parking lot. You know, karma, you have like karma, parkma. Parkma, where you drive into the parking lot, it's like, oh, I'll get the spot closest to the door, and you always do. Yeah, because that's easy. But healing this, whatever, oh, no, that's going to be hard. Well, there is no hard and easy in God. There is no hard and easy in Spirit. And we know Spirit works through us. And if we think this or that is going to be difficult, we're believing our blocks. That's what we're doing. We're just believing our blocks are greater than God. Well, how do you think that works in our life, right? How's that working for you? That means we have more faith in our blocks than we do in our God, right? If this is going to be difficult, that means we have more faith in the blockages in front of us than we do in God. And here's the thing, when we don't believe God can dissolve the blocks, we feel like we have to do it, right? And that's where we really run astray. Then we feel like, oh God, the weight of all of that I have to do. And that is one of the reasons we don't get the demonstrations that we pray. Because we feel like we're the ones having to do it. We're not giving God the glory. We're not releasing. You know the release step? You know our 5 steps of prayer, right? You've learned them if you've gone to foundations class, right? Recognition, unification, realization, where I know and accept, thanksgiving, and release. And the release is a really important part. That means I'm taking my hands off it, and I'm allowing God to get it done. Right? Not me, God. God does the work. God does the work through me, as me, whatever. But I take my hands off it. I love those bumper stickers on the cars where it says, Jesus is my co-pilot. It's like, honey, you in the wrong seat if Jesus is the co-pilot. You need to switch seats. God does the work through us. We don't do it. We just allow it to go through us. And when we feel like we have to do the work, we've lost track. We've lost track, and that's why a lot of times we don't get the demonstrations that we want. And that's why sometimes we lose faith, don't we? Oh, this stuff doesn't work. I've been praying, but nothing's happening. Well, nothing's happening because you think you're the one that has to do the happening, right? You're not doing the release step, not letting go. We feel like we have to do the work of Spirit, and instead of doing the work of preparing, that's our job to do, preparing our consciousness. Preparing our consciousness and getting really clear what's ours and what's Spirit's to do, right? And I know that can sound like duality, but it isn't. We're talking about the highest self, right? The outermost God and the innermost God are one. We feel like we have to do the work ourselves. That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Remember Matthew, come unto me, all that labor in our heavy laden, I will give you rest. They talk about rest a lot. Jesus' ministry, there was a lot of resting and a lot of partying and a lot of eating, right? He knew how to live when we're like struggling and straining. And it goes on to say, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am meek and in heart, and you shall find rest in your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And the reason why that was so was because he knew what was his and what was not his to do. It was his to know the truth, and it was God's to do the work. Jesus didn't worry about whether or not he was going to get a demonstration, whether or not a demonstration would occur. He thanked, he was very close and intimate with God, right? He thanked Abba. He called it not our Father, but Abba. He used the word daddy. Hey, Dad, do this for me, would you? And he moved on, knowing it was done. He prepared his consciousness before he did anything. Before he did anything, any miracle, any demonstration, any day, he prepared his consciousness first. He went off, separate and alone, to the desolate place, right? And he prayed. He prepared his consciousness. The time that we spend in the stillness, in the silence, doing nothing, that is our preparation work. Right? You know it. So you get on your meditation cushion, whether or not you like it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. But you know what I mean. You get on it whether or not something happens. You get to your meditation cushion and you sit there waiting for nothing to happen. That's our job, right? And you pray and you meditate. We spend time in the silence. We do nothing. That is the preparation work. We refill there. Well, you don't need a cushion. You can do it in a chair or on the floor. I don't really care where. God doesn't really care where either, right? It doesn't matter as long as you do it, as long as you sit in the silence, as long as you sit and prepare and open yourselves and refill ourselves with the truth, with words of affirmation, with statements of intention, with the power of Spirit. And it will fill you. And then we become the faith of God. See, there is no separation there. We become the faith of God, not faith in God. Right? We have been filled our whole lives with separation and duality. God's out there someplace, on a cloud, on a hill, on a whatever, right? And here we are alone and scared and frightened. No, there is only one. There's only one. The innermost God and the outermost God are one. There is no place out there. There is no duality. There is no separation. So we fill ourselves. We become the faith of God. Or Emma Curtis Hopkins. I've been reading a lot of her lately. She said, divine mind, which I am. Divine mind, which I am. Or sometimes she used presence of God, which I am. Or Christ consciousness, which I am. She always made that statement, which I am. Right? This is a powerful statement. Works through me to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. The presence of God within me, the presence of God, which I am, does the work. Works through me to will and to do that which ought to be done by me. This is what we do in the quiet time. We prepare our consciousness so that we can believe that statement. Right? We grow our consciousness so we can believe that statement. So when we start again, when we get up off the cushion, when we start our day, we're starting it with the power of Spirit flowing through us consciously, without a doubt, without thinking this challenge is going to be bigger than that challenge, or this is going to be harder to do than that. And then Emma Curtis, Emma Curtis goes on to say, we heal the sick. I love that. Well, before that, we preach the gospel, which means we provide freedom through our words. We provide freedom through our words because we speak only truth. So we provide freedom. That's what preaching the gospel means. We provide freedom through our words. We heal the sick. Spirit within us provides the dissolving grace that reveals wholeness within, which has been there all along. It's been there all along, right? But that's what she means by healing the sick. We just reveal the wholeness of people. We cast out suffering. Wouldn't you love that? You know, that's kind of my thing. Cast out suffering. We cast out suffering, and there is a lot of it around here. You know, leading up to Christmas Eve service that last week, I drove by 2 people on the verge of jumping off a bridge. One over the 8 freeway, and then 2 days later, on Christmas Eve, on the way here, someone was over the Bradley Street exit, overpass. 2 jumpers, potential. Both of them, thank God, were saved. But we are suffering. There is suffering around us. Check in with your friends. Check in with your neighbors. Things are going on that we may not be aware of. So this is our job, cast out suffering. And we raise the dead. How many of you have raised the dead? You know you have. You know you have. When you give hope to the hopeless, when you talk someone down from that overpass, when you give unconditional love and someone, as a result, finds a way maybe where they thought there was no way, you've raised the dead. You know you have done that work. But we cannot do any of that work unless we refill ourselves first. It's like the oxygen masks in the airplane, right? And they always say, put yours on first before you help somebody else. It's true. You have to do that. You have to fill yourself first before you can be this light in the world. And that is why we need the Sabbath. That's why we need these times out. That's why we need to refresh and refill. Go to that desolate place and pray. Or wake up in the morning and have some time out. Not hit the ground running. We need the Sabbath as a time to refill. And it's not just to watch Netflix. I'm not talking about that, right? We're not talking about, yay, I have a day off, let's do nothing, let's just watch movies all day long or hang out on Facebook or whatever. The Sabbath is to refresh and refill and remember who we are. Remember our power. Remember the I am. Remember the Christ consciousness, which I am. Emma Curtis, right? Remember the God within which I am. It is time to contemplate the universe, right? And our place in it, our personal cosmology. What are we here to do? It is time to renew our commitment to the call that called us. See, not only ministers get the call. We all get a call. We all get a call. We're here to do something. Isn't it fabulous that the same divine energy that created the galaxies and created the universe and created the platforms, the planets and created the stars also thought it needed a you in the world. It needed a you. This tremendous energy, this self-sentient energy that created everything, this universal intelligence that created energy, that created everything, also thought, yep, we need one of you as well. And here you are. We are called to life, to create something, to nurture something, to sustain something, to grow something, to change something. We're all here to express that divine desire, that divine urge that is within us. Ernest Holmes in Creative Mind and Success said, in the silence of the soul's communication with the great cause of all being, into the stillness of the absolute, into the secret place of the Most High, back of the din and ceaseless roar of life, we shall find a resting place and a place of real spiritual power. So, that's what we're here to do. As we welcome in the new year, let's not do it with last year's frenetic energy and the striving and the grasping and the running around and the being too busy. Let's welcome this new year with the energy of stillness, rest, refreshment, renewal, refilling our souls before we venture out to accomplish the doingness of life. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you, Reverend Patti. Well, we don't have a band today, and we miss them dearly, so I brought this we got a little Dano in a box up here. and you'll miss the real Dano. How you feel about that? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The sun comes up, it's 8:08. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a beautiful day. So I roll over to wrap my arms and my heart around you. And the way the lights are reflecting, I'm seeing more perfection than impressionistic canvases and endless summer skies of blue. All by 8:22, yeah. So won't the clock stop spinning for a little while, so maybe you and I can pay a little attention to this lucid dream we seem to be living. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. I've been on both sides of the fence, but you can make the same mistakes over and over again, and you never really know when or why the road starts to bend. But you always seem to have it figured out, my friend, at the end of a beautiful day. There ain't much doing, but my heart's percolating like the coffee in the pot I'm brewing. First a little more spooning, and I just gotta say, when you look at me that way, I see more clearly every day that you and me, we got a seemingly seamless situation, an everyday vacation. So please excuse me if I dream the day away in a state of pure imagination, 'cause it took me time to finally come to the realization, oh, that sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. I've been on both sides of the fence, but you can make the same mistakes over and over again, and you never really know when or why the road starts to bend. But you always seem to have it figured out, my friend, at the end of a beautiful day. There will always be gray skies. There will always be goodbyes. But I'm still standing here, and the clouds, they always clear, and the sun is gonna rise. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. I've been on both sides of the fence, but you can make the same mistakes over and over again, and you never really know when or why the road starts to bend. But you always seem to have it figured out, my friend, at the end of a beautiful day. At the end of a beautiful day. At the end of a beautiful day. The end of a beautiful day. The sun goes down, it's 8:08. I got a feeling that tomorrow's gonna be the same. Check the weather, sunny skies, no chance of rain. We'll see about that.
We know it's a sunny day, right? On the other side of the clouds, the sun is still shining. Now it's our time for conscious circulation. It's our opportunity to circulate our good, to be in that river of God's abundance, and to accept gratefully and give graciously, and just stay in that cycle of eternal return. We know that Spirit is abundance, and we are that, right? We are that. So if you are planning to give today to support Vision, thank you so much. Thank you. The Core Council thanks you and keeps us doing what we do here and out there in the rain and everywhere else Vision shows up. So let's pray. Let us pray, knowing that God is abundance. It is a quality of God, and as such, it flows through us. We know that we are an outpicturing of that energy, that sentient energy that knows of itself in form. We know that there is nothing else happening here but the activity of Spirit through and as us in the world. We become those facilitators of the expression of Spirit in the world, the hands and feet and the eyes and ears of Spirit in the world, supporting those things that we desire to express and experience more of. So I give thanks for all of the support, all of the gifts, all of the contributions that flow through this space, this community that we call Vision, that we hold so dear, in order to expand and express its mission, its vision, which is to transform lives through this practical spirituality. So in great gratitude, we simply let it be, and so it is.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully, freely. God is the river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, offering my first best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is the river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, back to where my soul. As I give, so do I receive. Thank you for my daily bread. God is the river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
Thank you, James. Just so wonderful. It's always so wonderful, always supporting this, always supporting us. So this is the time for the Miracle Minute, and man, you guys have been busy. I love demonstrations, you know? A little results-oriented, a little type A personality sometimes, but I want to see results of our prayers, right? This is well, it's not up there. Transforming lives through practical spirituality. This is a practical spirituality. We want to see results. We want to see prayer changing things in our lives, and we do. And that's why I ask you to email me demonstrations of answered prayer, because we know that there are shifts in consciousness, and that shift in consciousness produces things. So This is from Hummingbird. She said that her husband received a call that he needed to get up to the Bay Area because his mother was not doing well, and they were thinking it was not going to be long for her transition. And so they called the practitioner line for prayer, and then for peace, for love, for whatever, divine right action through this whole situation. And she said that was a week ago. And then her mother-in-law woke up. And she was like, oh my God, am I alive? And they said yes. And she's like, thank you, God. And she thanked all those people that she felt were praying for her, whether or not, yeah, isn't that cool? It just gives me chills. Anyway, holiday miracle. So that's from Hummingbird. And from Paul, and I love this is as well. He said he bought a pair of shoes and his feet just did not like them. and after trying them on like 2 or 3 times, he was like, nope, I can't do it. So he went to return them. He could not return them. So he was able to buy a new pair of shoes for himself, but then what are you going to do with the ones that don't work, right, that are not there? So he took pictures of them and he put them up on, what are those places, like Neighbor Next Door or Craigslist or something. Anyway, so a guy took them. Somebody came over and took them, and he said, this is interesting, he said he had his new pair of shoes stolen off of his porch, and he didn't have the means to replace them, and he wasn't sure what he was going to do, and that these pair of shoes was a lifesaver for him. Isn't that lovely? And Paul said, sometimes we are the miracle. Isn't that just delightful? You never know, right? When you release something, you are a miracle in someone else's life. I just loved that. And then from Donna, she said she just received a mail notice about a class action lawsuit against a company she worked for. But she said it was like over 10 years ago. And she said, I don't usually pay attention to those notices anyway. Do you not? It's like, whatever. We kind of throw them, yeah, class action lawsuit. She said, imagine my surprise when a check came in the mail as a settlement from that lawsuit. And, she said, understanding that this is kind of these scams, too, that look like this, or around us. So she didn't do anything with the check for a while. She made sure it was legitimate first, and it was, and she deposited it. So she was like, thank you, God, for abundance in unexpected ways. Right? I love this. We usually pray for unexpected income, and it's like, it shouldn't be unexpected. It should be expected. We are abundantly supplied by a universe which is abundant. So it should be expected income, maybe from unexpected sources. I don't know. Change it in your mind. Anyway, she said thank you to the prayer ministry, and she accepted her good of unexpected income. I love it. And she already tithed to Vision. Yay, we just love that. Prayer works thanks to the holiday season. And this last one from Kathy, she said, this is definitely a miracle minute for you. After letting go, vision mapping and letting God, we found our new home and moved in on New Year's Day. So that's why she's not here. She's moving into her new home. The house is in a neighborhood she's been admiring for years. It's a larger home for less money. She's thrilled. And get this, you won't believe the new address. We live on Bounty Street. I love it. Oh, I just love it. Thank you for your prayer. God has a sense of humor, right? It's just, anyway, so there you go. That's that. I just love that. Keep sending in those demonstrations of answered prayers. The more we are in that attitude of gratitude, the more we feel like, wow, there's good there. Right? They're more likely than we get that. We get that feeling, and it's being in that attitude that provides the demonstrations in our lives as well. And now it is time, and I know he's rushing right up here. Now it's time for the last word by Johnny Kirko.
My team lost last night. You might know that. That's a Michigan fight song there, which I appreciate the heck out of. Thank you, Mark Danishofsky. He's from Ohio, and he's playing a Michigan song. Yeah, it was a sad day for Lori Sheets and I today, so, and Nan.
Yeah, but his team lost, too.
Yeah, Mark's saying, Hello, everybody online. Yes, we're having a good day. It's raining. Michigan lost. Life is good. 2023 starting out with a bang. Now the sun is shining. So we do have our meet and greet right after our celebration. Join us for that, for one-on-one prayer, as well as for saying hello to our community out there in the world. We love to say hello to you right after this. Also, for those of us in the room here, we are having Congregational Sunday, which we have food each Sunday. And if you'd like to be a part of that, please sign up. There's a sign-up sheet so you can tell us what you want to bring. And also, if you want to stick around, you can have a meal with us. And we need help setting tables up and cleaning and stuff like that. By the way, this is the year of volunteering. Just going to tell you right now, 2023 is the year of volunteering. And Cindy Britton's going to help us put that together too. So thank you already, Cindy Britton, who's our volunteer coordinator. I'm giving you guys all kinds of information. I want to thank Reverend Sam for the Feeding America boxes we had over here. He went twice over to Feeding America. You guys filled up those boxes, and we helped and supported the San Diego branch here. So thank you guys for that during the holiday season. So in this month, we have a couple of classes that are starting up. First, The Art of Uncertainty. It's actually a book study, going to be led by Reverend Gene Phillips. And then Reverend Patty's going to be doing a foundations class. And this is the original foundations class, right, Reverend Patty?
Yes.
Yep, and so that's a 10-week class. So we'll be starting that at the end of the month. We have our new website coming, you guys, and I'm very excited about this. Yes, I want to thank Liz Lem for her work in this. She has really put a ton of effort into that. And thank you, Liz, for that. And we will be doing that probably a week from Monday. So you're going to see all that stuff, and we'll tell you more about that. Next week, Reverend Patty will be here. Her talk title is Refresh. As you've kind of noticed, our theme for the month and the year and stuff. So it's refreshing. We have James Higgins and the house band. Speaking of refreshing, we're going to have them. How about TJ Moss today? TJ, you have any regular gigs? You have CDs available? What you got going in the world? Tell me. Little this, little that. TJMossmusic.com. Check it out. He's got all kinds of things. It's not really CDs anymore, right? We're doing all streaming and stuff, so check that out. I just want to say, how about Christmas Eve last Saturday night, huh? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. It was just so cool. This room was filled. The Higher Vision Choir rocked. We had some great music. The band was just doing well. Thank you guys for that. That was a great thing. And then we had a Christmas Day celebration, so all kinds of stuff. Thank you guys for celebrating that with us. So it is the beginning of January. If your birthday's this month, please stand up.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, January
Everybody,
Happy birthday to you.
What do we have today?
Well, we have a cake that has fireworks on the display. With fireworks for January. Happy birthday. Chocolate is coming.
Chocolate. Rich, did I miss your name on our board? No. Okay, you're standing up. Yes. So anyway, chocolate cake. We got chocolate cake. So very good.
And we have food to refill and refresh.
Very good. All right, guys. See you. I'm in the back.
Refill and refresh. And I just left that up down there. Anyway, we're going to stand up now and we're going to say our affirmations. And they're up on the big screen. There they are. I love them. And we're going to say them together. We're going to just ground ourselves in the truth of these. You know, they're present tense, they're powerful, they're passionate, they're purposeful, all those P words. We love alliterations. Let's start. 2023 is filled with unlimited possibilities. I come to Vision to refill my spiritual tank. New year is a new me. Oh my gosh, they're all good. They're all good. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's do all three of them. Okay, you ready? Let's just do this. I want to hear power here. 2023 is filled with unlimited possibilities. I come to Vision to refill my spiritual tank. New year is a new me. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's just tingly. Let's go within one more time in prayer right here, right now, knowing this is the truth. This is spiritual truth, that there is a power and a presence greater than we are. It flows through us and as us in the world. It changes the conditions around us. Ernest Holmes' ministry said so. For years and years, there is a power in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. And I would add, and it can use us as well, flowing through us, changing the conditions around us, reordering the world in which we live, knowing and accepting that there is this one power, one presence, that it is the truth of our being, it is the truth of all life everywhere. I simply give great thanks. I know this is so, and so it is. Amen.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, together all are we. When we walk with each other in perfect harmony, yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow.